Hey everyone, this is Neil Napier here. Just give me a very quick shout out in the chat box if you can hear me all right and if you can see the screen as well. And when you do, we will get this party started. All right. Okay, I'm just going to wait for a few responses to come in and then I'll jump into the content for today. And I have to say that this is something that we have never discussed till date with any Kyvian. So this is something that I wanted Stephen to get in and share with me first so I can share back with you because it is highly technical, very, very important stuff. Okay, so Masheka's here, Annette's here as well, and Jenna's here on the call too. We've got Janet, Antonio, and let's see who else. Trevor. Perfect. A lot more people coming in, which is good. Now, as you know, when we did the session last week, I switched things around. So last week I talked about building niche marketing sites with Kyvio, building small sites and optimizing them for SEO. But I didn't cover the optimize for SEO part because I switched around, and this is something I will talk about today. And just so you know, next week we might not have a session because I'm traveling, as I mentioned, it's summer and I will be traveling a lot. So next week we won't be having a session, but we'll continue the week after and then focus on CPA and affiliate marketing. We've still got 4 sessions to go after today. So a lot of content to share with you for absolutely free. Now, having said all that, let's talk today about how you can optimize Kyvio pages for SEO. Now, I want to show you something here. Let me just jump on to Team Rack. I'm going to Google this. And because I know these sites exist, so I can easily show you what appears inside of Google search. So there you go. Team Rack, you can see this is the website name, this is the website address, and this is the description about the website. Then you can see some other pages as well over here that talk about Team Rack. Not that many actually. But if I go to Kyvio, you can see we have a much more detailed sitemap here, right? So you've got description about Kyvio here. You've got details on the pricing, logging in, Kyvio blog, as well as a support desk and features and so on and so forth. So this is much more SEO optimized than other pages because we've spent quite some time on it. And also, if I look for other pages that sit inside of Kyvio, let me search for one. Let's say SinRanker sales page is another that sits inside of Kyvio. So if I go to this one, you can see there's some description on this as well. But because this doesn't have many sub pages, you don't see the same kind of drop down that you saw earlier with the Kyvio website. So the key thing to note here is that as long as you set things up right, your pages will be discoverable in Google, just like regular WordPress pages will be. So you will get a lot of organic traffic coming back to your site as well. Even our homepage gets a lot of organic traffic every month because it has been optimized over quite some time. So today I'm going to show you how to optimize your pages for SEO. It's really simple, really straightforward. There are a few things you need to do, and I'll talk to our team and I'll make sure that the list that I have, we share that list with you in written as well, so you know exactly how to do what in order to optimize your pages on SEO really well. So let's go back into the dashboard and I'll look for, let's say, Smart Funnels here, because Smart Funnel is the one where you'll be making a lot of changes. So this is a dummy funnel and I'm going to go in and edit that as we go along. So the very first thing, and again, this is a list that Stephen gave me when I asked him, hey, I need to do a session on SEO. Can you give me some pointers so I don't miss something? And because he's the CTO, he knows more about this than I do. SEO is not my forte, it's his. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. Let me just change the font size a little bit. Okay, well, taking a while. There we go. Okay, so the very first thing that Stephen mentioned is that if you use external JavaScript on your pages, always include it in the footer and don't include too many of them. So for SEO, load speed of a page is very, very important. And as you know, we're always working to optimize the pages more We've already done quite a bit to speed up the pages, but I know we can do more and we will. But the first thing that you should be aware of is if you do anything JavaScript related on your pages, you should only add it in the footer. So if I click on page settings, let's go to scripts and tracking code. And this is usually where you put your Facebook tracking, Google Analytics tracking. If you want to use heat maps, this is where you will put that information. You will be told by these services as to where you should put it. Should it be in the header, footer, or body script? Ideally, the footer is better. So you can see that we've got an up viral contest running here, and we have put this script in the footer as well. This doesn't slow down the page a lot. I mean, JavaScript's always going to slow down your pages a little bit because they need to be loaded, but footers are lower priority, which means that they won't have as big an impact on your page load speed. And as I mentioned, page load speed is very, very crucial for when you're trying to load your content fast and when you're trying to rank via SEO in Google. So the very first thing, you need to make sure that if you include any JavaScript, you try and put it in the footer unless you absolutely have to put it somewhere else. The second thing to note is that you should not keyword stuff your URL, which means if your main keyword is already in your domain, do not also put it in your slug. Let me explain what I mean by that. You remember those times when you would create those tiny niche sites? Let's say if I was to look for car reviews online. So my keyword here is car reviews, right? So these days you can't see that many car reviews online, kind of, what are those called? The ones where people would take a really long keyword, a long tail keyword, and build an exact domain with it and try and rank it. In past, you could rank on Google really well with it, but that doesn't work anymore. Google doesn't care too much about, I think they're called EMDs, exact match domains. Yep, that's it. So Google doesn't care too much about that. So don't worry, don't be pushy on that. And if you are going to use a name, let's say you are ranking for car and driver, right? If that's your URL, please don't create this URL. Let me paste it and it'll make more sense. Please don't create a URL like this. There's no reason to stuff your domain name, your slug, with the same URL that you're trying to rank for. It does not work anymore. If anything, Google thinks it's a little bit desperate. So if you are building your pages, let's see what this one is. This one is kvsocial.kyvio.com/step1. So when it would, for example, be mapped, it could be kvsocial.com/step1. If I was ranking for kvsocial, putting kvsocial.com/kvsocial is just a terrible thing to do. Like I said, it doesn't look good either because these days people pay attention to what the URL is as well. So make sure that you don't keyword stuff your URL anymore. And same goes for page title. You can put an SEO keyword phrase in there, but not if it is already in the URL. So again, this is best practices. There's many different ways to do it. But if I go to page options, you will see page title, right? Join Insta series for free. If you wanted to put something in here, don't use the whole same car and driver thing. So if our domain, let's say if I'm ranking for KV Social, I wouldn't say KV Social best social website, right? This is, again, a little bit desperate, and Google doesn't like the fact that you are forcing in keywords all the time. It doesn't work. Let me go back to search for SinRanker. This is what we have here, SinRanker main offer. Not the best thing to do, right? Again, not something that we had originally thought about because someone else set this up and Stephen didn't. But had he done that, we would not have gone for this. And let's say if I go back and search for Kyvio, again, Kyvio is being repeated, but in a way it's okay because if I click here, this is what people see in the top menu. Here, Kyvio create, sell, optimize, right? So that's kind of okay, but just don't stuff in keywords unnecessarily. That's the key thing to remember. Then maximum title size is about 80 characters, and write it so that people would want to click on it. The click-through rate is really important in search results. The higher it is, the higher you rank. So for example, more people that look for Kyvio, when they find it, if they click on it, it's going to rank higher. Why? Because that's the keyword people are looking for. Let's say if I find another one, best membership practices. If I click on any of these links, Google will think, okay, this was the most relevant link for that keyword, and next time it's going to rank that one higher. So you need to make sure that your page title is clear to read. All these are about 80 characters, I can tell you that. I mean, most of them are. But you don't need to make yours so long that it's not even readable, right? Because sometimes it cuts off, like here. Best practices for associations to maintain high membership, and I don't know what it says, right? And it's probably missing a key message there. So no need to make them so long that they are unreadable, but make them about 80 characters maximum so it shows clearly. Is that okay so far? If I'm going too fast, let me know, but tell me if that's okay. And like I said, I will make sure that we include all these best practices under the video as well when we publish it, most likely inside the knowledge base. Okay. Great. The next thing is manage bounce rates. So ideally, for SEO, your bounce rates need to be lower. Is there anyone here who does not know what bounce rate means? It's okay, just say no. I won't call out your name, but I will explain what it is. Okay, so let's say if I go to this website, right? It's the first time I've ever been here. I'm at this website and I'm kind of looking through it. Maybe I spend a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, but I don't click anywhere else. I just go back, right? Which means I have bounced basically, which means that I have not spent enough time on the, well, time is a different thing, but the fact that I've just gone in and left, either clicking back, closing the site, or something like that, means that I have exited the site. I have not found the site interesting enough. And Google's going to think, well, you know, if the bounce rate is consistently high, which means if let's say 95% of people leave there, when they land, they leave after 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but they leave there and they don't go to another page on the site, then it means that it's a terrible site. So Google's going to rank that lower. So these days, as it stands, you cannot game Google for SEO as you could before the Penguin and Panda updates, but now the focus is more on actual readability, actual connection. So ideally, how it should work is, let's say if I go into this website and I'm looking through some of their content and I'm like, yeah, this is good. And they're linking to another, you know, content from their site, and they're linking to all these posts. I'm like, yeah, I want to read this too. So I read this, and now the bounce rate is 0 for me, just for me. There might be other people still who bounce, but I positively attribute it to this website. Okay, so it is important that the content that you build is engaging. That's why bounce rates from opt-in pages can be quite high. At the same time, I mean, if they're converting well, it can be quite low. If your opt-in page is converting at 60%, most likely a bounce rate is going to be 40%. If your opt-in page is converting at 10%, your bounce rate is 90% more or less, you know, which means that Google will think it's a crappy page, which is kind of true because really you're only converting at 10% anyway. So especially with blogs, make sure the content is engaging. Make sure that people spend as much time there as possible. And one way to do that is include video in your content as well. And remember, if the video is YouTube related, you get some YouTube views there too. Google likes to reward that as well. So it's a win-win all around. For simple opt-in pages, maybe if you're driving Facebook traffic, you don't need to rank, right? But if it's an opt-in page that you want to organically get traffic to over time, you're going to have to put a lot of content on it, which is why blogs as opt-in pages just work so much better. All right, cool. Now, this part's a little bit technical, but Google likes a good content versus code ratio. So If your page is content poor, which means not a lot of text, the ratio will be poor and it will affect SEO. So what you can do is at bottom of the page, put some longer quality and relevant text. Again, don't keyword stuff either. So what we mean by this is, let's say you decide to build an opt-in page like this one, right? You decide to build an opt-in page like this one. Google's not going to pay a lot of attention to this, right? I'm going to try and search for this and see if I can find this page. Most likely I cannot. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. That's actually the sales page that you see here. If I go further, I cannot find the opt-in page, even though the opt-in page probably got more traffic and that opt-in page probably was published before any other page, right? It was one of the first funnels we created on this site. So I can't find this in the first 50 results. Yeah. So clearly the page isn't very well optimized. What I could do here is, like Stephen mentioned, add a lot more content to it. So you're still keeping your call to action above the fold, which is fine. But if people wanted to read more, they could engage more by reading on that page. So a few things will happen. Most likely the bounce rate will go further down. Their time on site will be higher, which is good. And Google will look at it and say, hey, this page has got enough content, that's good. And if you're wondering what is enough content, there's no fine line, right? I can't say 100 words is good or 500 words is good. It really depends. But the point is, the more the better. Still, don't duplicate content. Don't copy content from somewhere else and just paste it in. That doesn't work either. All right. The other thing you can and should do is fill out your keyword in page options. It's not important, but it does help. So if I go back to this, here, again, let me close this and I can open it again. Page options, there. You've done your page title, fill out the description as well, and fill out the keywords as well, right? So the description is what you see here. Okay, again, this kind of looks like this, which is okay, drives curiosity, but ideally you want to just, wrap it up here. But if I go back, you can fill in keywords as well. Oh, actually, this one doesn't rank at all because it's hidden from search engine. Well, duh, right? But you can see with other pages as well. Again, I wouldn't do this unless it was a very special page I wanted to hide from Google, because otherwise it ranks there forever, right? But the keywords are useful. They can be useful, especially if you want to rank for a page and you want to optimize that page for those keywords as well. So that's what I would do. Okay. All right, good. Use plenty of margins between elements. This is important for mobile view, and Google is able to detect this, and it will help SEO and usability. So you might know this, by the way. Let me just change another spellings as well. Yeah, great. You might know this, but recently there's been a big movement towards introducing a lot more spacing on pages, right? If I go to Kyvio again, you will see that we have a space here, quite a wide space over here as well. We've got space here, big enough space here, spaces here. I mean, other than being clear and functional, it just looks better. Okay, and Google looks at this and say, hey, this is a clean site. If you look at it in mobile as well, Google says, yep, it is mobile optimized as well. I'm going to rank this page higher. And they do that. So use plenty of margins wherever you can. The other thing is that you should not load your pages with more than 2 non-native fonts. Now, this is advanced. 98% of you will never have to deal with this, because we kind of take care of it in the back end to make sure that they're not more than 2 non-native fonts automatically. But there's some people who would want to add their own fonts. So I think if they go to page options, if you go to typography, you've got a lot of fonts here, right? But I can't remember where, but there's a place to import your own fonts as well. I really don't know where that is, but I know for a fact that you can import your own fonts into these pages as well. Let's see if I can find it now. Okay, I can't, but I think it's maybe via JavaScript. I'm not entirely sure. But the point is, don't play with it unless you know exactly what you're doing. Because if you add too many external fonts, again, just like JavaScript, is going to slow your site down a lot, and you don't want that. The worst thing you can do is reduce the experience, the quality experience that your audience, your customers get when they land on the site. Now, there is one thing that we are aware of that we're going to fix moving forward as well, is that if I put in an image here, for example, let's say there, okay, I can add an image URL and whatnot, but I cannot put in alt text. So alt text is something that is used with images to make them more readable for people who can't see, right? So for someone who cannot see an image, if there's an alt text, which is alternate text, you can tell people what this image is about. Now, if you include that alt text, your images rank on Google better. And they rank for those keywords. So let's say if I was putting up an image, let's go for one of the ones we have in here. Okay, I'm going to use this image. All right, let's say if I was trying to rank for 100 e-course publishing tips, if someone who can't see, they land on this page, they're not going to know what this image is about, right? So there is a way to circumvent that using HTML, but I won't give you that just yet. Instead, I will tell you that we're going to add another field here, which will help you put in some alternate text as well. And that alternate text is good because that way Google will look at it and say, okay, this is optimized as well. That's a good thing. And you're going to rank better. So again, whatever we can do to help you rank better, we will be doing. Any questions so far? Let me know. I'll grab some water. Great. Excellent. Okay, so let's move forward to the next part. And again, I think today we might close this within 30 minutes. All right. So make sure to optimize images and make them small. So let me explain what happens with this. So here's the thing. And this really affects page load speed. So let's say you go to Google and you go and find, let's say, large, beautiful background. Okay, I'm going to look for images and I'm going to find a large one. This one's pretty cool. So I'm going to find this one and I'm going to just say open in a new tab. Okay, that did not work. Oh, let me try. Let's see if that works. Nope. This should be a big image, so I'm just trying to. Okay, let's go for this one. Download in original size. Hopefully it works. Yeah. Now this is a massive, massive image. This is about 392 kilobytes. Right? So if I save this now on my computer, and let's call it this one, BG Wallpaper. I'm going to go back to InstaSeries and I'm going to change the background here. Oh, actually, not even change the background. I'm just going to add the image here. So let's go ahead and put the image right over here. Okay, browse and upload. Uploader. Open. Okay, there we go. So it is 392 kilobytes, right? Which is still okay. Let me find that. There. Let's use the image. Done. So here's the thing. Let's save this and I'll view it and we can see. Here's the thing. This image only shows up like this, right? That's the actual size. I mean, no one's going to click on it and open it in like new window. But if I want to, I can open image in a new tab and this is going to be a full-blown image. 99% of the time, this is unnecessary. So what it's doing is that it's loading not just what you see here, but it's loading this whole thing. So even though you only need like a tiny, tiny part, it's showing up the entire part. And you don't want that. You really, really don't want that. So what you want to do is you want to resize this image and then re-upload it. In future, we will automatically resize it based on how you want it, like in this case. But now, for now, you go to, I can't remember what it's called. Let's see, Resize Images. There's a really good one. I mean, all of these work, but these are good ones as well. Okay, let's upload an image. So I'll again search for BG Wallpaper. Okay, it's uploaded. I'm going to resize this. Let's resize this to 50%. Keep aspect ratio, that's fine, all good. Let's resize the image now. Okay. Well, that one doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be bigger. What's the site I usually use? I can't find it now. Oh yeah, tiny PNG. This is the best one. So let's upload here, background wallpaper. Okay, it's picking this up as 401 kilobytes, and we're going to resize this so that it's much smaller. Right there, it's resized it to 207 already, which is saving us 48%. Right, let's download this, and the image, as you will see, let me open this up in big. Okay, it's just as big. Right, I can still upload it and it's still fine. But I'm gonna upload it again and see if I can still resize this more, if possible. Or compress it rather, right? It's compressed it a little bit more. 200 kilobytes is enough. I've almost halved it now. Or more than halved it, which is good. So now the page is gonna be much, much faster. The page is gonna load much faster because now the image is much better, right? So if I go back here and if I upload, let's say if I change this one and browse and upload, there, see it's picking it up as 195 kilobytes, which again is going to be much, much faster to load. It's probably already going to save you like half a second or so. Let's open this up and open an image in a new tab. There, it's still pretty big, but it's compressed, right? And it hasn't lost the quality. It is still compressed. So that's something you can do. You can still reduce the size of it. You can go back to the resize image site I was looking at, and you can still save a lot of space. And remember, every second that you shave off from the page load speed, the theory goes that you save 10% conversions. Or rather, for every extra second that you add to your page load speed, you lose 10% conversions. So that's what you need to think about. It is very, very crucial that your pages are well optimized. In future, again, we'll be able to do this automatically, but in the meantime, you want to make sure that your pages are automatically optimized. Okay, Janet, if you missed the session, all of them, yes, you can. I'm not sure if you get our emails or not, but if you go to support@kyvio.com, you'll see there's a knowledge base here, and all these sessions are added over here. Okay, all the sessions are available right over here. If you go to Kyvio webinars, you will be able to access all the webinars that we have done till date. There. Okay. All right. Perfect. Cool. Okay, then let's go to the next part. The next part is, yeah, this one we covered. Make sure to optimize your images. Mention Well, I need to mention we are already faster in ClickFunnels, but the Kyvio 2.0 that we're working on will be much, much faster. So just to show you, the page load speed is important, right? That's the important thing. So we're already working on making the page faster than what it is right now. And that's always something that we have to work on without overloading you with technical stuff. So a lot of the times it's for us to figure out where and how can we become more efficient. So that's something we're always working on, just so you know. Okay, but yeah, as mentioned, the alt text is coming up as well, because that's going to help you rank your images as well. And remember, if your image is ranked, you might get some traffic because of that too. Surprisingly, a lot of people get traffic to their website because of the images that they have uniquely created. And that's kind of what you want as well, you know, especially with Annette, for example. I know you do logos. You want your logos to rank as well, you know, with specific keywords. If someone's looking for, let's say, yoga logo, you know, they should come across your site from that, and they should be able to buy from your service because you are more graphic focused. So anyone who's building a more graphic focused page, optimizing the images, trying to rank the images is a very important thing to do. Okay. All right, let's go back to page options. All right. Now, there is one aspect of Kyvio that we don't talk about enough, and I want to cover that a little bit today as well. Blog Builder, it's like the forgotten child who we are not working on at the moment, but eventually, again, we will get to it when we've done all the core stuff. But with the Blog Builder, our key focus is to give you as much functionality as we can without overloading the site. So as soon as you land into the Blog Builder, you will see step 1 is settings. And this is where you can put an SEO title. You can put in SEO keywords, SEO description. This is already good enough to rank your blog. And of course, you don't want to hide the blog from search engine, right? You've got a few other things as well, but really the general settings is the key one where you can take care of SEO. Okay? All right. Then the next thing is when you are writing a post, let's go and edit one of the posts. Okay. Then make sure, as we pointed out before, you don't really want to use the same keyword that is also in the domain, right? Ideally, you want to avoid it. And excerpt is what people see for that blog post when they're Googling, in that case. You again have the image thumbnail, but for the blog post itself, you have the SEO title, the keywords you want to rank for, and description as well. And description will overrule the excerpt if you have included that. Then, of course, you can also put in categories and tags, and over time, you will also rank for categories and tags. Okay, so the blog portion is really straightforward to do. I know with WordPress, you get a lot of different options. I think most of them are redundant. Most of them are too advanced. It's like the 80-20 rule with Pareto's law, that we give you 20% of the things that you need to get 80% of the results. Any more, and you'll be working over time just to get that little bit of edge, which might not be very useful in the long run. So we try and optimize already whatever we can. Okay. But cool, I think that's it from me. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if there's anything specific I can talk about today for Kyvio and SEO. If not, then we will reconvene next week. Let me find the page. Then not next week, in a couple of weeks' time, we'll reconvene and we will be talking then about CP and affiliate marketing. All right, in that case, have a good rest of the day, everyone. It was great seeing everyone here today, and I'll be in touch with Replay in the next couple of days or so. But as always, you can check the knowledge base. It will be there, and we'll send out an email as well. All right. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.